Hey there guys, and welcome to another video on Realm Grinder. So this game has given me a lot of entertainment and enjoyment, and it's given me a decent amount of entertainment and enjoyment. It's given me a really good amount of just brain switch offiness, which I need for when my anxiety's bad and this kind of thing. Like Realm Grinder has been great for that, because as you've seen in the past, when I did my first video, it's a lot more in depth and interesting, especially when you compare it to the other kind of absent clicker style games. You know, Adventure Communist is a great example of a terrible fucking one. And Clicker Heroes is just kind of like, you know. Before we go any further, first thing I want to say is spoilers. There's a lot of stuff I've unlocked and done, so spoilers. Alright? I don't want you guys, you know, getting annoyed or whatever. The other thing I'll say, you know, I'm quite a far way through the game. I've unlocked a lot of stuff, and, you know, just bear that in mind if you're watching this video and you haven't got very far, because you don't want it spoiled if you just want to kind of go and do your own thing. So yeah, first off, what I'll say is I'll give you guys a little bit of a nudge if you're having difficulty with the game. I know that I, in the end, went to look up a couple of guides on a few things on how to do stuff, because I couldn't figure it out myself. So let's get going. First up, you have I can't remember how far I got in the first Realm Grinders. I don't think I had unlocked the neutral factions. The neutral factions, let's see, where's the... Okay, so challenges. So you see you've got the fairies, the elves, the angels, the goblins, the undead, the demons, the titans, the druids, the faceless. Pretty sure if I did show you the titans and maybe the druids, I hadn't unlocked the faceless yet. You've also got the extra factions for the evil and the extra faction for the good, which is the dwarves for the good and the drow for the evil. So you can see a lot of stuff here. Let's just do a few clicks so that we can get speedrun. Speedrun is, if you look down here, it's this secret trophy. Reach 1 million coins in less than 5 minutes without using gem power. And what that gives you is increase your base clicking reward by 1 million. Which means that now we can click all the way up to 100 farms very quickly. Very useful. And this is once you've started to bear in mind here, I'm on reincarnation 25. So next reincarnation, reset all your stats, your excavations, remove all your gems. You will, however, keep your trophies, gain a new free upgrade. Reincarnation power unlocking immediately upon starting a new run. This upgrade will grant different bonuses based on the amount of times you've reincarnated and will persist through subsequent abdications. So, you know, once you could abdicate for gems, now you can reincarnate for reincarnation power. I'm on reincarnation number 25. Which gives increased production of all buildings by 625%, offline production, faction coin chance, fine chance, mana regen, production bonus from gems, you know, add 1 assistant per reincarnation, increase the production of it. You can see them all there, like maximum mana. Yeah, it's pretty good. So we'll hit farm to 100, and we'll do the reincarnation power, which gives us some assistance, and you can see our money's now going up. You've got the standard stuff like the increased clicking reward, base clicking reward. You've got the increased farm production. You've got the mana regen. You know, you've got... Oh yeah, okay. We need... you know what? We'll let that stay off the headset, because well, yeah. So you've got like the increased production. Like a lot of these are secret ones, or you get them from excavations. You can see here my max excavation so far is 2,230, which is quite nice. You've also got the Bloodline, which you unlock later on, which lets you choose one of these things. Now, I'll go into these momentarily, because I'm going to talk about how you can use them a little bit. But you've got, like, increased royal exchange bonus by additional 1%. You know, some of them are very small, but they do help out in certain situations. There's one that I do need to get, which I haven't got yet. It's a secret trophy, which is Mana Waste. Which is having... you have more mana regen than you do mana. Which, you know, I have to work on, but... So, you can notice that we're on, like, 6 million here. Once you buy the gem power, that goes up to 500 DTGS, which is a large number. That means we can just... you can see my gem is... my gem's 2,000 UTG. I'm not exactly sure. Umpteen trillion or something like that. It's quite high. And yeah, we've got that many gems, so the gem power really does boost us. So it's fairly complicated to talk about, so I'm not going to go massively into it. What I will say is, as you're starting off, what you're going to... Let's just buy all these, shall we? Because it's easier than anything else. What I will say is, when you're starting off, around about the time... it's going to start getting difficult before your first reincarnation, probably. You're going to be abdicating to get gems. Now, when you should abdicate, it really depends, you know, 10 times what you have at the moment, or 100 times what you have at the moment, you know, whatever works for you. Now, what you want to do after you abdicate, and this hopefully will help you guys... First thing you want, first off, if you have a bloodline, you go with the Elven Bloodline. And I'll choose this now because you'll see why. Because it gets faction coins automatically, it clicks automatically, and you get the money from clicking. It's mostly, you want the Elven Bloodline when you first reincarnate, or abdicate, I guess. Although I don't think abdicate, you know, applies as much. You want this bloodline because it gets you the faction coins very, very quickly, which is very nice. And yeah, that's basically it. But what you also want to do is, when you abdicate and you're starting off, you want to start off with the elves. And you can see here we've got dwarves. I guess we'll go with the dwarves for now. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, the first thing you want to do when you abdicate is you want to go with the elves, because the elves get extra. You know, their moon blessing gets a lot of faction coins. It basically lets you get your coins quicker, and it means that you can progress faster on your first kind of run before you abdicate. And the elves are a really good choice after abdication. You know, once you've got your gems after your first abdication. Once you've done the elves, you can see we also have the dwarves here. You know, they've got a whole load of bonuses. They're the extra faction. So you can either go with the dwarves to begin with, but then other stuff unlocks. We'll talk about that in a bit. And this gets me nowhere near my goal, unfortunately, because this is fairly weak. It's also very good for the elves are really good for the royal exchange, because you get so many faction coins with them. Goblins also get a decent amount of faction coins, and you know, technically speaking, you might be able to go with goblins, but you get better mana and mana regen as the elves. So I'd say elves would be the way to go. The second way you want to go is with the demons. So after you've reincarnated, you've used the elves, you then go with the demons. Now the demons, they'll get you a fair ways through. Let's just go. And again, if you've got a bloodline, go with the elves again, because you'll get that. Are we on 1,000? We're on 1,000 by. Okay. Yeah. Go with the elves again, because just for the faction coins. Later on, you won't need to. You'll be able to use your excavations tactically to kind of just stay ahead of the curve and be able to buy, what you need. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you'll be able to stay ahead of the curve and buy what you need. So what we have here is after around about 20. It might be 18 or so. I think it's around about reincarnation 18. You get something new, which is special buildings. For example, the Infernal Realm. You upgrade Hell Portals to Infernal Realms, boosting their production by 100% per trophy you unlocked, and unlocking more unique perks for the building. So, allows access to research facilities. So this is the Drow. The Drow I unlocked fairly early, along with the Dwarves and along with the Mercenaries, which we'll look into Mercenaries in a moment. But yeah, the Infernal Realms. Then you can't buy this Drow treaty anymore. The Drows go away. And you can see here we now have research. Research is a whole load of things you unlock by doing certain things. For example, this 270 one, you can see it's possible to unlock it, but progress is 0. And that's because we have to do something along the lines of 200,000 or 600,000 clicks in one game. And one game in this instance meaning without abdicating. So you have to choose a faction and your affiliation and all that, and then you have to get 200,000 clicks or something like that in it. Obviously, I'm going to be doing that soon, and I'm going to be doing it with the elves most likely, because they have the most automatic clicks, and I'm a lazy bastard. So you see, like these things, they'll have, for example, increase the production of Infernal Realms based on the amount of demon coins you found. So we do that, it boosts our production. You can see the production goes way up. You've got increased production of all other buildings by 110% per Infernal Realm you own. That increases production of all other buildings by a lot, but we don't want to do that. Reduces Hellfire Blast by 16 seconds, reduces its mana cost by 200, and it increases its effect by 600. So now when we use Hellfire Blast, it'll hit all of these for mass effectiveness, but it'll be a lot shorter. And yeah, this is what the research is. You can see here, you have to spend money and faction coins to research things. It takes you time to build up, as far as I have. But it does boost you past the kind of... You stop getting upgrades, basically, at a certain point. And you need the research to boost yourself into the gem range needed for another reincarnation. And yeah, it's interesting. It's fun to play around with the researches, see what works, see what doesn't. And you've got templates here. Like my current template I have been using, although I'm switching out soon, is goblins. And I guess I can show you that very quickly. So also let's talk about bloodlines as I do that, and then let's just get up to there. Grab the... My goblin template isn't amazing, but it's passable as these things go. So at this point, all of these upgrades and everything, they don't mean that much to me. Just purely because I get them every time at this point. So let's just grab all of these. Hello. It's one of the annoying things if you're like talking to someone while you're playing this game. They'll be like, "Why are you clicking so much?" And you're like, "I'm playing a clicker game." Oh yeah, and of course you have Goblin's Greed here. So instantly produces faction coins based on the amount of gems you own, 10 million. So we just buy those, and then we almost get 100 royal exchanges straight off the bat, which is great. And we also get the Voodoo Doll, which increases production of all buildings for each trophy you unlocked. Hurrah! So what we now have here is we have all of these options for the goblins research, and what you can do is you can figure out what works for you, figure out what is good for the goblins and what you prefer, and then you can save the template. And then when you get back here after an abdication or something like that, you can just import it. Boom. And you see, like, it didn't all do it, but it took all the ones that I've already selected. And you do it again, and then we've got our full goblin specification. We've got things like increasing production of goblin banks, and increasing production of all buildings based on faction coins, all this kind of stuff. It's very nice. And then of course you've got these, and what we'll just do very quickly is, does this work? Yeah, just about. So you just, kind of do a quick smashing of this, and then, we've got another 1,000 of these, and now, for nearly all of them at least, and now we can boost all of these up to where they need to be, buy all the upgrades, buy another set of royal exchanges. You see right now they're 5,800, almost 6,000. We'll talk about that in a second. So, the Bloodlines. Fairy Bloodline. The fairies, once you've unlocked research to begin with, the fairies are probably the first one to go with. So, as you're going through your first researches, take the fairies, take the fairy Bloodline, and just that should do you to begin with. Like, the fairies are a great way to get your reincarnations to begin with, and as time goes on, you want to switch over to the goblins, and yeah, you kind of go from there. The fairies increases production of farms, blacksmiths, and inns based on your assistance. The elven one, you saw it, auto clicks and gets you faction coins and etc. Angel Bloodline is, weirdly enough, is an AFK build. Not offline, so you don't have to be out of the game, but you do need to be actively casting spells all the time, and it will go up by 1% a second for ages. It's a great one for cumulative builds. So if you're having problem getting past a gem wall, as long as you're casting spells all the time and your mana regen is good, then this is the Angel Bloodline is probably the best one. The Goblin Bloodline, I don't see anyone saying you should use it. The Undead one, again, I don't really see anyone saying you should use it. The Demon one, again, although that's not too bad. Having the production bonus from gems being that much is actually pretty good. The Titan Bloodline is probably one of the better ones. The Druid Bloodline is useful in certain aspects. There's some things, for example, the Mana Waste Trophy. That can really help for that. That increases maximum mana based on mana produced in this game. Dwarven Bloodline is based on your excavations. And you can see here, like, the Dwarven Bloodline is really good until you get when you have high excavations. But very often, if you can get to where I am on the Royal Exchanges, it actually comes better to be the Titans. So a lot of the time you'll be wanting to run Titans instead of Dwarves. Unless you're doing an offline one, which is where the Drows come in. Increase offline production by a cumulative 0.1% per second while you're offline by at least 1 minute. Value is preserved when you come back online and persists through abdications. So when I'm offline currently, I get 10,000% offline production, which is great. If I'm going to be offline for a while and I have a good build that works with offline, then that's wonderful. But we're going to choose the Titan Bloodline because it's better than the Dwarf Bloodline at this point. And now you can see that that's been boosted up a little. Lovely. No, sorry, the production's been boosted up a little. The Royal Exchanges haven't been boosted up, but this has. Okay, so, and you see now, like, you get a lot of points in, and I'm at UTG gems. The NOVG gems is the NOVG gems are so next one it goes to will be TG, I believe. So it'll go NOVG to TG and then UTG. So I'm not that far off with the goblins, which is nice. I don't think this will boost me there quite, but that's fine. And you can see, you can always go back and look at your bonuses. So like now the bonus to production is 5,000, which is, again, you know, it's if you've got someone like the goblins or the elves even, actually going with the Titan bloodline can be great, because you get, and yeah, you get a whole load of faction coins, which is really useful. And again, the research here, you can see, you know, every time you cast a spell, you also cast 3 tax collections based on the amount of goblin banks you own. So we've got 3,600 goblin banks. You can see that we get 5 extra free tax collections. And I believe there's a goblin ability somewhere. Increase the production of all buildings based on the amount of tax collections cast in this game. So the way you actually run this, and I'll show you this here in the mana selection, you've got different types of auto-casting. And one of the types of auto-casting you can do is you can do this, which is Blood Frenzy and then Tax Collection. So this will just give you an idea of the tactics you can employ throughout the game as you level up. You know, just don't just apply this to research. Apply this to everything. You know, like there's always reasons you should be doing certain things, or could be doing certain things. So, for example, in this one, we're casting Blood Frenzy first, golden, which means as soon as you have enough for it, you'll cast it, and gold for tax collection, which is the same thing. So Blood Frenzy first, tax collection after. The reason we do that is because, and I'm gonna mess this up very slightly, while Blood Frenzy is active, increase mana regeneration based on the amount of assistance you own. So that increases our mana regen, which is great. It means we get more spells out. And then, obviously, the other one we were talking about is increasing the production of all buildings based on amount tax collections cast in this game. So if I leave this running for about 10 minutes or so, we're gonna cast a crap ton of tax collections, and our production bonus will be enough that we can kind of push the we can push this envelope a little bit and push ourselves up further. You know, getting past UTG to UTG gems is probably not going to happen. But you know, maybe it could happen if I left it for long enough and built up this bonus. The point I've got to here with 25 reincarnations, it has slowed down fairly significantly. But it's still, you know, it's still going reasonably smoothly. I've had to look up a few builds and possibilities of what I want to do, but I'm being slowed down by not having unlocked everything, because I haven't even unlocked like efficient auto casting. There's a build called IGOT, and there's a variation on it where you can set up so you get a crap ton of mana. So yeah, that's one thing that I probably need to do to unlock these, and then, you know, unlock a few other things. But yeah, like this is just, you know, giving you an idea. After you do the demons, screw it, let's get the elf bloodline going. There we go. You want to go to the Titans. So once you have the Titans and have remembered them, classic callback. I have just recently unlocked the research for the Titans as well, for the neutral factions. They do also get that. When you get the Titans, what you're going to have is you're going to have the deep mines are going to be your best bet. So what you want to do is you want to use Lightning Strike. Again, gets you good faction coins. Oh, that's useful. So you want to get the Lightning Strike, which will boost whatever it hits, and you want to wait till it hits the deep mine, and then you just want to burn all of your mana on spells to boost that up, and then you can probably abdicate, and you can do that a few times. If you're wanting to be a bit more. If you're wanting to be a bit more, probably it's probably a bit slower, but it's also probably a bit more reliable, because with the Lightning Strike you have to have random number generator go, yeah, okay, hit the deep mine. you might want to go druids, because druids also, after you've done the demons, are a good way. After a few reincarnations, again, you'll unlock the mercenaries. Here are the mercenaries. Let's just get a few of these, because I don't know how much it will cost. Buy all. So the mercenaries are really interesting when you unlock them. I had a lot of fun going through the different builds you can do with the mercenaries, and you can use the mercenaries with anyone, so good, evil, or neutral, and it changes the buildings you get. So you can really, like, there's so many different possibilities with it. I found probably the best one was you've got evil fairies, you've got Titan Strike, Demon Rush, neutral elf, Drow, evil bloods, like all these different kind of ways. The one I found works is Lightning Forge, and we'll go through that momentarily. But what you have here is you get to buy 2 of any of the spells, so you can get the Lightning Strike, for example, and there's the other one, and you get 4 upgrades from any race, aside from, like, for this one, cathedrals. Because I'm not good, I don't have cathedrals, so I can't choose that one. I can, however, choose this one, which increases the production of all buildings based on spells cast in this game. I can increase my mana regeneration by 40%. And this is where you get some really interesting builds. So I'm just going to load up this build here. Boop. There we go. And we'll just, yeah. It costs faction coins again to buy the upgrades, as well as money. But you can see here the upgrades that we have. We've got increased production of blacksmiths and reduce the building cost multiplier. We've got blacksmiths also increase your mana regeneration rate. We've got you gain additional assistant. And all of these here are different tiers. So you've got one from bronze, silver, and gold. We've got goblins, we've got titans there, druids here, faceless, dwarves. You've got the magic contracts, and somewhere here, although I'm not sure where, unfortunately. You also want to take the fairy. You also want to take the fairy bloodline because it boosts your blacksmith. What this build is, and what it's really useful for, is a one-hit wonder. Same as before. You do lightning strike until it hits the blacksmith, because the blacksmith is your main provider, and then you just bump everything here. You basically do this like that, and then you just tax collection until you're empty, and that will kind of boost you up. As you can see, we're even further behind than we were with the goblins. At this point, the mercenaries aren't as useful, unfortunately. But I imagine they'll make a comeback at some point. And yeah, that's just a few basic looks and thoughts of the game. Like, you've got these challenges here. I'm not going to go into them. You can see some of them are active, though. It depends who you are. And part of the reason I'm doing this video, I did kind of allude to it at the beginning, is because this game's given me a lot of nice absent brain, which I've needed, which I need all the time. And it's starting to wear down a little bit, kind of to the point of, you can see my mouse actually is messed up on the screen. Sorry about that, guys. That may have been annoying you. I do apologize. And yeah, it's interesting to. It's definitely very interesting to go through, and like, it's got so much more depth than the other clicker games. It's actually worthwhile, and from what I know, it actually started on Congregate, which may explain it. A lot of these other games, mobile games and all this kind of thing, starting actually on the internet and everything. I could see why it would. Why would it be much more in depth and well thought out? Because someone actually put effort into thinking it out. I think that's as far as I want to take the video. There's a whole load of crap I can talk about, but I've shown you pretty much how these things are set up, and and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there you go. That's Realm Grinder. I'm very happy that I played it. I've got Let's have a quick look. I've got 468 hours in it. Obviously, a lot of that is AFK and doing other things, but the point remains is that I've put a lot of time into it in a short period, and that's mostly because it kept me engaged. It kept me engaged to the point where I could zone out of my brain when my brain's being, you know, anxiety, panic attacky. And it's been a great help. So I wanted to make another video to just basically show you guys who weren't convinced of it or something, you know, anything along those lines, just basically being like, check it out. You know, if you have similar problems to me, if you just like clicker games, this is probably the game for you. And thank you, Realm Grinder, for helping me with my shit. You know, it wasn't intentional or anything like that, but it helped, so fuck it, right? So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, it was a bit of a weird one. I wouldn't generally come back to games like this, except for I've played it so much. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one.